Cougars is presented by Flat Stick Pub. Local craft beer, old school fun, memorable moments. The Cougs got back in the win column with a 56-14 victory over the Colorado Buffaloes. Welcome to Talkin Cougars. I'm former Washington State quarterback Alex Brink, joined by my fellow three-time Apple Cup winner wide receiver Michael Bumpus. Bump, Cougs are back, heading into the biggest game of the year.
Yeah, we needed that one, man. I gotta mention, I won 3 because I had you throwing me that thing too. But yeah, man, the Cougs are back in the win column, snapping a 6-game losing streak. It's time to get after it, man. Let's go. That was time for our opening drive, brought to you by Valley Buick GMC. See you in the Valley. Yeah, Brink, this was a game. It's the first time in Coug history you got an offensive touchdown, a defensive touchdown, and a special team touchdown in the first quarter, man. I felt the energy as soon as I heard your voice in the open. You and Chaz now an adjustment on the sideline. I'm watching the game from the Pac-12 network headquarters, and it felt like it was going to be a good game. The boys came out and wasted no time asserting their dominance.
I was really impressed with the crowd. You know how those pre-Thanksgiving break crowds can be in Pullman Bump, and they showed up, Coug fans did, on a Friday night for a big game against Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes, and that place was loud, and it was pretty full, and you're right, the boys came ready to play, and right off the bat, I mean, Jake Dickert has talked all year, really since that 4-0 start, and then 6 straight losses, about playing complementary football. That means all 3 phases playing together, and to your point, boy, did they ever do it in the first half with 3 touchdowns, one by each of the units. Obviously, I thought Cougs were hitting on all cylinders. It was a great way to head into the Apple Cup. I was really impressed with the offense. I thought the offense stepped up. Cam played really well. The running game was there enough to keep the Buffs honest. And Kyle Williams, Josh Kelly, Lincoln Victor, right? Everybody was kind of in the mix, and I think the Cougs had a great opportunity to feel good heading into this last game of the season.
Yeah, I like that point. Everyone was in the mix, and I like the way they got them in the mix too, man. I mean, when you think about this passing offense for the Cougs, you think about Cam holding the ball, waiting for a deep route to develop, and him letting it go. That first drive, you saw slants, you saw hitches, you saw speed outs, you saw Lincoln Victor with a big reception, and then he finishes it off at running back with a nice little GT pull on the line of scrimmage. So we saw creativity, but we also saw this offense just take exactly what this defense was giving them. And I think that's what you need to do in games when you're trying to get back on track and get right? Just throw some jabs, nothing too major. They want to play a soft cover 2, a soft quarters. You go underneath and let your players get all the yak for you. So, no, I loved it. I love the basic creativity coming out of the gates, man. I think it was a good way to have everybody settle in and remember that this is just college football. Take what they're giving you. Let your guys do the work for you.
And if I'm being honest, Bump, I kind of buried the lead a little bit because the storyline here is really about the defense, but we're offensive guys, so we like talking offense. The storyline's Brennan Jackson and RJ Stone in that pass rush. 4 sacks in the first 2 series of Shedeur Sanders, ends up knocking him out of the game, and then you ultimately have 2 forced fumbles and 2 fumble recoveries by Brennan Jackson that led to touchdowns. And really, outside of that kick return by Leighton Smithson, which was really impressive also, those 2 defensive scores in the game were really what broke this thing open.
Yeah, whenever you score on special teams, when it comes to returns, or you score on defense, you talk about scooping scores, you're going to have a good day. You mentioned those 4 sacks. The Cougs had 5 sacks on the day. That's the most since October 7th against the UCLA Bruins. It's been a while since we've seen this defense get after the quarterback the way that they did, and they should have. I mean, let's be real. The Colorado offensive line is not the greatest. That's why Shedeur Sanders has as many sacks as he has, and he holds on to the football praying that someone gets open. So we love to see it because we know we got RJ, we got Brennan Jackson, guys that can execute that. But if we didn't see it, then I would be a bit concerned. I didn't have to worry about that, man. A great showing by the defense. And also big ups to Cam Ward, man. 4 touchdowns overall, 2 passing, 2 rushing. It's a nice weapon to get him inside the 5 and just let him finish the deal for you.
Yeah, he played one of his best games, and Cougs overall probably played one of their best games of the year right about the time they had to have it to get to 5 wins. One more win and you're bowl eligible, and that's what's most important. Talking about that defense, and Brennan Jackson. We're fired up. We're going to be joined by Brennan Jackson next, coming up in the Coug Spotlight. Talkin Cougars is presented by Flat Stick Pub. Let's take a look at our Coug Spotlight, presented by Cougs First. Think Cougs First for products, services, and hiring. All right, I'm joined now by Brennan Jackson, the man of the hour after that Colorado game on Friday night. B-Jack, I mean, obviously, looking back at that game, monster senior night for you. 2 touchdowns off of fumble recoveries. Just talk about the feeling you had as you were running that second one back, because that was a long one.
Yeah, it's every D lineman's dream to have some open grass and the ball in your hand. But the second one for sure, I was like 70 yards. Anyone behind me, you can see on the film, I'm looking behind a couple times. But once I passed the 30-yard line, I knew it was house time again.
Obviously, you and RJ have been super impactful off the edge. You know, as you think back to your career and you guys coming in together, obviously roommates and the bond you guys have built, what does all that mean as you're coming down the stretch here heading into the Apple Cup at the end of this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an amazing 6 years. We've had the privilege of being together for all 6 of them. So just the connection we've built, over the years and being able to play side by side in some amazing games. I think it just made us into 2 better men and better teammates and better leaders for our team because we're able to, feed off each other so much in the game. And we're both very different kind of leaders. Obviously, you can hear RJ coming from a mile away, whereas me, I'm a little more reserved. But it's just made us into 2 really good captains, and it's been an amazing 6 years. And I'm so glad I've had a partner in crime like him.
You guys have kind of been through it all, right? The ups and the downs. This year has been kind of a little bit of all of it. What have you learned in your time in Pullman, kind of through the trials and tribulations and the ups and downs on the field?
I would just say that football teaches some of life's biggest lessons. I think just all the adversity we've had to face since being here, I think has really just made me grow up into a man. Because when I got here, I was definitely not as mature, not as good of a talker, not as weathered for the storm. But I think it's been a privilege to go through adversity. It's been a privilege to go through the growing pains, because now going into life after football, I think I'm weathered for those kind of events that are going to happen. Because everybody wants to go into college and everything play out the way they want to play out in their mind, but that's just not the case. And I'm really thankful that I've had the opportunity to go through so much, because it makes me cherish and really grateful for the highs, and then also just ready for any lows that come by.
There's no doubt there's something about Pullman and Washington State that'll do that to you. You've come out weathered on the other side in the best of ways. That's for sure. Man, we got to look ahead. We got the Apple Cup coming up. You've played in them. You know what it's all about. Give me your 10,000-foot view as you kind of head into this game of where it's at, what your expectations are for your last Apple Cup.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big one. This is the one at the end of the season everyone marks on their calendar. Obviously, I would be foolish to not say that they have an amazing offense, very high power. They've got a stout offensive line, really well coached, and obviously their quarterback has been just slinging the ball around to some amazing receivers. So really early on, this game is going to be about getting him off his mark, getting pressure early. Something that hasn't been happening to him much this year. He's been kept up pretty well back there. Only 7 sacks in the year allowed. So it's going to be a tall challenge. But with my partner in crime, RJ, we're going to do absolutely everything we can to get back there, get him flustered, and it's going to be an amazing game. I'm super excited for this one. Obviously, they have a lot at stake at this game, and for us, it's great to go in there and potentially be a sour spot in the season.
No doubt. And as you play a game on the road like this, rivalry game in Husky Stadium, what's your mentality when you go in there? Do you like playing in front of that hostile crowd?
I do. I think it really is a different kind of energy when you're going against a hostile environment. Obviously, we love playing at home, but going in there and getting a big win to kind of just, they're playing in front of a hostile crowd. When those big plays happen, you just feel a certain type of energy brewing because you're taking the life out of the stadium. Whereas when you make a play in your own stadium, you bring life to it. But we want to take all the life out of them. We want them to be basically watching a game and be quiet on the side. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is how can we take the life out of the stadium and how can we make it really a Coug home game?
Well, from 2 guys, myself and Michael Bumpus, who have done it in Husky Stadium, man, we wish you the best of luck. We're fired up for it. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs. Thank you.
More Talkin Cougars after the break.
Talkin Cougars is presented by Flat Stick Pub. Man, really excited for Brennan Jackson to play in this final Apple Cup, man. I remember our last Apple Cup B. It was at Husky Stadium, came down to the last drive. You know, your boy helped you pick up a couple third downs, and then you go deep to beat Gibb, man. A dramatic finish to our college careers. So I can't wait for Brennan to have that same experience and beat the Dogs in their house, man. There's nothing like playing in these Apple Cups. It just feels different. I didn't really realize what it was until I got into the Apple Cup. Me being a guy from California, I did my research. I'm talking to seniors about it. I'm trying to get an idea of what to expect, but you don't really know until you're out there. There's a lot of pride going on out there. You get a chance to take down one of the best teams in the country in UW and be the spoiler when it comes to them getting to the college football playoff. So there's something to play for. Be the spoiler and then get into bowl eligibility, man. But there's nothing like seeing the crimson and gray square off with the purple and gold.
I love what he said about playing in front of the Husky fans in Husky Stadium and a hostile crowd, how he relishes that and how he likes the idea of quieting the crowd, right? Versus being at home where you're trying to hype the crowd up. I thought that was so true. And I remember, Bump, you and I quieted that crowd in Husky Stadium a couple times, 05 and 07 for sure. The other thing I thought was amazing, you know, with what Brennan was talking about was, you know, the love he has for Pullman and his teammates and his experience. And I think you and I both can speak to that and that experience of going to Pullman, you know, as a player. And, you know, I'm from Eugene, Oregon, you're from Culver City, California, and everybody in between, right? I mean, there's guys are from all over, and everybody comes to Pullman and they leave with that same feeling of, you know, love for the school, love for Pullman, and love for the Cougs. And, you know, Brennan is the epitome of that, a 6-year guy who chose to stay and bleed the crimson and gray still. And, you know, I'm thankful he's on our side, to be honest with you. And it's going to matter a lot when we face off this week, this Saturday against the Dogs. There's no doubt about it. Brennan Jackson's got to have a big game. And I'm excited to look forward to that game. It's time now for Talking Numbers, presented by Cross Country Mortgage, making every mortgage feel like a win. Bump, when you think about that defensive line, Brennan Jackson, R.J. Stone, Nusi Milani, David Gusta, they've got a tall order because not only do they have to get after Michael Penix, who is one of the best, if not the best quarterbacks in the country, I think a key to this game is stopping the run. Mississippi State transfer Dylan Johnson can really go. And when that offense for Washington has balance, it's a problem. And I don't think the Cougs can afford to let Johnson run wild and let Penix drop back and pass. So you got to pick your poison. And I think you take away the run and you challenge Penix because he's going to get his, right? Rome Odunze is going to get some. Jalen Polk's going to get some. It just is what it is. But in past Apple Cups, I'm thinking about 2022, last year, when they rushed for almost 200 yards. I'm thinking about 2018. Remember Gardner Minshew, high hopes for the Cougs, and Myles Gaskin and Savon Ahmed both had big games, and that kind of blew it open. I think when Washington runs the football well offensively and has balance, that's a real problem for the Cougs.
Yeah, I agree. As of late, Dylan just has a couple of games, right? You have that big one against USC. Can't let that go down with over, 250 yards on the ground. And then the last couple games collectively, the Dogs have found a way to rush for over 100 yards. So, yeah, I'm with that, right? Make them one-dimensional and then get after Michael Penix. He's been sacked less than 10 times this year with that offensive line protecting him and him getting the football away. I'm looking on the outside naturally at Rome Odunze. I think he's the best receiver in the conference. And how do you slow him down a bit? Like you mentioned, he's going to make some plays. He's going to get his. But you have to be physical at the line of scrimmage and really toe the line between pass interference and just being a little rough and getting your hand on his hip. When I watch some film, the guys that have any type of success against them are the guys who aren't afraid to kind of push the limit when it comes to being physical off the line of scrimmage and being a little bit grabby when you're in your intermediate and at the top of your routes. So if you can do that and make Michael Penix have to look elsewhere, at least to start the game and at some time late in the game, I think that's going to give you a better chance. So, yeah, easier said than done. Dylan's been a good player for them so far this year. Rome Odunze obviously is one of the best, but I'm a receiver. Make us uncomfortable. Start from depth, then walk up during the snap. Start close during the snap, then walk back. Make me have to think about my release, man. That's how you mess up timing, and that's visually how you mess up Michael Penix when he's looking at those one-on-one matchups trying to take a shot to Rome.
It'd be interesting to see for Washington State. Shaw Smith-Wade, the number one corner, has been out the last few weeks. We'll see if he gets back for a big Apple Cup. That being said, Cam Lampkin has had a big year on the other side for Washington State. 5'11", 175 pounds. He's physical. He's confident. It'll be interesting to see if he matches up with Rome Odunze and gets the nod, right, to maybe travel with him and see if he'll be able to challenge him, like you said, at the line of scrimmage and be physical.
Yeah, last one I want to shout out is Kelly. Kelly's been consistent all year, 130 yards his last game. Didn't score a touchdown, but you need a guy who's going to stretch the field inside the 20s, right? Make this defense, make these safeties have to stay in that back pedal. And if you can hit him early in the game, you'll open up everything underneath, right? And we saw last game, the Cougs come out against Colorado, and they're dinking and dunking underneath. So hit something up top to Kelly real quick to get them loosened up, and then underneath, man, you go to work. And we're not done, man. We got lots more coming up after this. I'm Talkin Cougars. Talkin Cougars is presented by Flat Stick Pub. Time now for our best bet, brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino, largest casino in the Northwest. I'm ready to go, man. It's Apple Cup time. I can't wait to see how the secondary and this defensive line are connected and respond to this pass game. One of the best passing games in all the land. You know, they like to throw it all across the yard. So there's going to be opportunities. We've seen these receivers drop footballs. We talk about these UW guys, and we've seen them not want to be physical. So that's what I'm betting on. I'm betting on this secondary doing their thing.
I love that. And, you know, on the flip side, another pass game has to get going. I'm betting on Cam Ward, number one, QB1 for Washington State. I think Cam's got to have one of his best games that he's played for Washington State if the Cougs are going to be in this game at all. And the good news is that he's facing a pass defense that's number 9 in the conference, averaging 260 yards against that Washington secondary. There's some good players. Jamar Muhammad is a really nice player at the corner position, but there is open lanes downfield, and Cam Ward, if he can get going, you mentioned Josh Kelly previously, had a big game last week. Every game he's gone over 100 yards, the Cougs have won. We know all about Lincoln Victor. He causes problems in the middle of the field. And Kyle Williams on the outside. Those three guys, that's a three-headed monster for Washington State. If they can get going, I bet that Washington State has a chance to win this football game. Bump, I think it's a race to 35, man. They got to get to 35 points and then see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I agree. Get to 35, cause a couple turnovers. Keep the Huskies under 375 when it comes to total yards, and you just might have an opportunity.
Bump, wait a minute. Hold on. We got something's happening here. I got something in my ear. Somebody's coming in here.
Hi, boys and girls. It's Softy and Cam Cleveland here from Talkin Huskies right here on Root Sports Northwest, and wanted to just send you guys a message before the Apple Cup on Saturday. And that message is, hey, if you don't want to come Saturday, you want to throw in the towel, you want to just go somewhere else and have an enjoyable Saturday afternoon with your family, I don't blame you, because let's face it, guys, ever since the 4-0 start, you haven't done a damn thing even worth talking about. You lost 6 in a row. And then you beat a stinking high school team over the weekend in Pullman on Friday. Your players, come the end of the year, won't even want to be on the roster. Your head coach is already concerned about other teams poaching players off your team. He's complaining about NIL. We're getting killed by Oregon State. We're getting lapped by Arizona. The whole thing is coming crashing down, and you know it, and we're just going to do one thing on Saturday, push you off the damn ledge at Husky Stadium at 1 o'clock. Go Dogs. Cam, anything to offer?
Nope.
Hey, Dave, Softy, whatever you want me to call you. There's a lot of passion you're coming with. You got your purple hat on, you got your Husky helmets behind you, and it feels like you're trying to cover something up, man. I know something about you. I have to dig because you don't want people to know you ain't even a Husky, dog. You didn't even go to UW. Probably didn't get accepted to UW. And you haven't played one Apple Cup. The closest you've been to the field is your nice little credential that you wear around your neck on the sidelines while the real dogs go out there and play some ball. So now I understand where all that passion is coming from. A bit insecure about that acceptance letter, huh? How'd it feel when you opened it up and it was like, nah, dog, we're good on you. UW, having a great year. Caps off to those boys. The boys getting it done. I appreciate what they're doing. But you know how the Apple Cup goes. Actually, you don't know how it goes because you've never played in one. So write your article after the game, and you better wish that we don't get it done because I'm on you like white on rice, my friend.
Not a lot there from Cam, the man that did play in an Apple Cup or two. He was nice and quiet, Bump, and I think I know why. I think he might be just a little bit scared after watching that Colorado tape. And the last few weeks for Washington, not all that smooth, man. The Beavers gave them all they could handle. Arizona State gave them all they could handle. And yeah, the Dogs slid by, but my man Cam knows that it wasn't that clean. He's afraid the Cougs coming in to get the W in Husky Stadium, just like Brinkin' Bump used to do.
Go Bellevue College.
All jokes aside, Bump, this is going to be a fantastic football game. Undefeated Washington Huskies. Cougs coming off a big win against Colorado. Both teams feeling like they can win this football game. Montlake is going to be rocking. Coug fans, Husky fans, we know what it feels like. And I remember throwing a couple first downs to my man number 5, Michael Bumpus. And I think you're going to see that again. Lincoln Victor, number 5, making some big plays. I'm fired up for this game. I'm Alex Brink, the Husky Killer. 3 Apple Cup wins for myself, my man Michael Bumpus. We are so happy you guys joined us. You can find me on Twitter at AlexBrink10 and on the call this Saturday with the voice of the Cougs, Matt Chasnow, and our sideline analyst, Jessamine McIntyre. We'll be giving you everything you need. Can't wait to tune in.
Yeah, man, I can't wait for this game. It's going to be exciting. You got 2 good offenses going at it. Defense is trying to figure out. It should be great, man. I'm Michael Bumpus. Find me on Twitter, Michael Bumpus5. Also on the Pac-12 Network. Monday through Friday, I'll be on Seattle Sports 710 from 10 to 2 p.m. And on Sundays, catch me on the Seahawks broadcast team. Hey, that's it for us here at Talkin Cougs. We appreciate the love. Happy Thanksgiving. Talk to you guys soon.